Bonjour les Français. Aujourd'hui, on va discuter les pronoms compléments or pronouns. For those who are following along with a note sheet, just so you're aware, we'll do a little introduction with a few slides at first to make sure you're familiar with the concept, and then we'll dive into actual structure and note-taking. Alors, on commence par imaginer que nous avons le tableau, tissu et feutre avec nous en classe. Et imaginez que vous écrivez un message en français à une autre personne en classe. Tu as écrit à qui? Et qu'est-ce que tu as écrit? So if you imagine that scenario where you're en classe with your tableau, tissu, and feutre, and Madame asks you to write a French message to another person in class. The next thing I would want to know is, well, what did you write and to whom? J'ai écrit un message à mon ami. What did you write? The message was what you wrote. And to whom? To whichever personne you felt like talking to en classe. Well, why bring up the message example of all this tableau tissu feutre business? J'ai écrit un message à mon ami. Well, because it does a really nice job of explaining the difference between our two types of pronouns. Un message is the thing that you wrote. Okay, it's the direct object of the verb. What'd you write? I wrote a message. The personne to whom you wrote, well, that's a great example of an indirect object. The personne is the one who receives the message. Okay, you didn't write the person. Okay, you didn't write your friend. You wrote a message, but to whom? To the friend. That means indirectly they are getting something from you. Note time. So la structure, un pronom is simply a pronoun. Its job is to replace people and things that come up repeatedly in conversation. Premier, on discute des pronoms compléments d'objet direct, which are direct object pronouns. In these cases, the verb or action is happening directly to someone or something. That personne or chose, that person or thing, is the object of the verb's action. Partie 2. On discute des pronoms compléments d'objet indirect. These are indirect object pronouns, which means that the verb or action is happening indirectly to someone or something. The personne or chose, that person or thing, is the secondary object of the verb's action. And we'll give you some more samples so you can see what it looks like in context and also how it's all organized. For those who are following along on notes, this is a great time to fill in your chart. Pour organiser, sometimes we find it's most helpful to keep the same kind of verb structure, je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle, here. The cool thing about this is that you're really not learning too many more than you already do know. Me and te work for both direct and indirect objects. You're already very familiar with le, la, et l'apostrophe to say him, her, or it. Nous and vous can be used for both. Les is a familiar one for you. The newest ones pour cette classe de français, lui et leur. So to him or her, to them. Ici, to him, to her. Ici, them. Voici aussi quelques exemples, and I would go ahead and fit both exemples into your chart as well. Par exemple, I'll walk you through each one. Luc m'aime. Luc likes me. In the direct object version. Luc me donne des fleurs. He gives me flowers. Here, flowers would be the direct object because flowers are the thing that's being given. Me, I'm indirect in this case because I'm getting something from Luc. Te, je t'invite au cinéma. I am inviting you to the movies. That's direct. You're getting the invitation. Je te prêterai ma calculatrice. I will lend you my calculator. Here, Te is indirect because we see I'm lending you something else. Ici, je l'aime. I like him or her. Direct. They're getting my liking. And je lui parle. I'm talking to him or her. Indirect. Ici, avec nous. Tu nous vois ici. Do you see us here? Us, we're the direct object. We are receiving your look in that sentence. Elles nous rendent visite en juin. They will pay us a visit in June. And rendre visite here is the visit is what we're receiving in that case. That's why we pop in front. Ici, je vous aiderai en maths. I will help you in math. Here, direct, because you're getting my help. Madame vous écrit une passe. Madame writes you a pass. Here, you're indirect, because the pass is the thing that I'm writing. Ici, Pinal, nous les aimons et nous leur téléphonons. We like them. We are making a phone call to them. So, les aimons, direct. They're getting the like from us. Leur téléphonons, indirect, because they're getting the phone call. So you see kind of when you see both examples tied next to each other, that indirect is directly involved with the verb, and when it's indirect, usually there's something else involved, like an object or another person. Voici les règles pour travailler avec les pronoms. What you should know is that the pronom is always identified in conversation or text. You can't replace something if you don't know what you're talking about. That has to be established first. The pronom is always in front of its verb in conversation or texte. And there we pop that just before the verb so that listeners and readers get a little heads up that, whoa, hey, this verb is acting on that person or thing. Aussi, we change or conjugate the verb for the sujet, who is the personne doing the action. Especially with nous and vous right next to a verb, it can be really tempting to conjugate for that, but we have to do the personne who's doing the verb. That's where the change happens. What's cool about les pronoms is that they have a liste of verbes utiles. So if you're wondering, like, okay, how do I know when to use which one? Mostly, objet direct will take these verbs. Aider, to help. Aimer, to like. Chercher, to look for. Détester, to hate. Écouter, to listen. Inviter, to invite. Regarder, to look at. Rencontrer, to meet. Retrouver, to find or meet again. Voir, to see. You're going to notice a total pattern with objet indirect ici. So these are the lui and leur ones. Okay? They are all ending in a ici, which is delightful because you're usually telling something to or giving something to or writing something to a personne, and that's what the a will represent. Désolé. So dire a, to tell or say. Écrire a, to write to. Parler à, to speak to. Téléphoner à, to talk to. Rendre visite à, to give a visit to. Rendre service à, to do a service or a favor for. Donner à, to give to. Montrer à, to show to. Prêter à, to lend to. Et rendre à, to give back to. Deux choses à noter pour l'emplacement. Where the heck do you put these things? Tous les pronoms directs et indirects vont devant le verbe. They go right in front of that verb, like je lui parle. I am talking to him, pops right in front. Au négatif, you do a little sandwich, like so. Je ne lui parle pas. So je stays outside. Ne and pas do a little sandwich, and lui and parle, the indirect object and its verb, stick together in the centre. I thought it might be useful here just to give you a little bit more work with lui and leur, especially since you haven't seen a whole lot. Voici Ousmane. Je téléphone à Ousmane. Il est joueur de foot. So Ousmane, ici, if we were going to say I'm calling him, okay, we would say en français, because it's à Ousmane, okay, and téléphoner is one of our verbs that does lui and leur, we would say je lui téléphone. I'm making a phone call to him. Likewise, here's ones with leur. Est-ce que tu parles au joueur de basket? Are you talking to the basketball players? Non, Monsieur Berg leur parle. Nope, Monsieur Berg is talking to them. And here, because parler au is a parler à verb from our list that uses indirects, okay, the best way to say that is leur parle, okay, because he's talking to them. Now, if that wasn't enough awesomeness in one page, there is totally more. Deux pronoms en même temps. You, too, can amaze your friends by combining pronouns two at the same time. C'est possible. Show you some samples, but what you should know about structure is that if you're doing this, me, te, nous, and vous always come before le, la, and les in a sentence. So if you're wondering which order they come in when you do a sentence, that's how it goes. Likewise, le, la, and les always have to come before lui and leur. So I would note those two on your papier. On travaille en classe aussi. We'll do a lot more work with all of this en classe aussi. But for those of you who are ready to roll, check this out. Christophe donne un chat à sa sœur. So Christophe, super nice guy, gives a kitten to his sister. Joyeux anniversaire! Okay. He gives it to her. So the un chat becomes le, because it's masculin. We pop it in front of the verb. We also say, hey, lui, okay, because we're giving it to her, okay, and also something else is kind of in the way. The cat is really what's being given. She's just the indirect recipient of it. And that comes there. Because of our structure order, we do le, lui, and donne. He gives it to her. Ou bien peut-être, cet exemple final, Nesrine a écrit un SMS à moi. So Nesrine writes it to me. It, the message. To whom? To me. And because écrire, okay, here, is talking about l'écrit, it, the message, and then to me pops right in front. There you go. We'll definitely take some samples. C'est compliqué, but once you get your head wrapped around it, I think it'd be fantastique. Bon courage et merci beaucoup. À bientôt.